This is kind of a spontaneous pop-up live, which I almost never do. I typically like to make sure that it's planned out in advance and people know it's coming. But tomorrow is the opening day of trout season here in Pennsylvania. I'm in my garage. I need to get some stuff ready, get myself prepped. And I thought I might as well start up a live, see if some people filter in. I know I'm probably not going to get a ton of viewership right off the bat because nobody who's a typical viewer of my channel really knows that it's going to be happening. As I say that, Justin from You've Been Thunderstruck popped in. He's a typical viewer of the channel. Thanks for coming in, Justin. This is kind of a spontaneous idea, getting ready for trout season tomorrow. So I'm just going to get some stuff ready and have a little bit of entertainment so I can chat with you guys as I'm doing that. So over here we got the rod collection. There's also two in the corner, which are actually two of the more important ones for trout fishing for me. So we have a couple of options. I'm probably just going to load a whole bunch of stuff in the truck for tomorrow, and then I'm going to be spot hopping. I'm not sure which spot's going to be the best. I have three that I'm going to try and hit, and I'm not really exactly sure what it's going to look like. I'm just going to load up everything that I think I might need and select what I need from there. But this is my ultralight. This is a PC Fun Carbon X and a Field and Stream Tech Light 5'6" ultralight one piece. And my dad's coming out there. And this is ultralight 2-pound line. Good little setup. And we got this one as well. Where are you going tomorrow? I'm going to be heading a variety of different creeks. A couple different spots along the French Creek, and I think the other one is what is that one? I'm not sure. I forget what the other one's called, but I know where it is. So, a couple different spots. This is my light-powered setup, 1,000 size reel, 4-pound line, Berkeley lightning rod, also 5'6". And then the other two that I'm going to be working with are up here. Here's this one. I'll read some chats in a moment. This is my BFS. I've talked about this. I have a whole video dedicated to BFS stuff, and I also have talked about it more specifically in reference to other things and how it works in my Ultimate Rod and Reel Guide video. Most casting rods are typically designed to throw heavier lures, that sort of thing, but there's some unique benefits such as accuracy and reducing line twist that you can get with them that you can't get with a spinning rod. So for things like inline spinners, little spoons, that sort of thing, I really like the BFS. So if I'm throwing an inline spinner, which is really, really common for stock trout, I'm going to be throwing it on this guy. Let me read some chats here. Yeah, Justin, I think it was a community post that the storms are hitting you guys hard. I saw that on your channel. Thanks for that reminder, Justin. I really appreciate it. We got 16 people in here. And that is the nice thing about this vertical format is there's a lot more people that kind of just filter through. It's sunny here. That's awesome, supercalifragilistic. That's a heck of a name every time I say it. But that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are getting some good weather. It's not bad today. So turn you guys this way. There's my other rods. So we got 3 of the 4. And then the last one is this guy. This is hard to show you because it's real long. This is my fly rod. This is a 5'6" weight. It's a little bit heavier. I only have 2 fly rods. I've got the little one, which you can see right there. That's a 2 weight, and then I got a 5'6" weight. I can do this for some lighter bass stuff and for some heavier trout. So it's kind of a good all around. It's just one of these wild water combos. They're pretty cheap. If you've looked around for fly fishing stuff on Amazon, you've probably seen them. They're decent. They're not the best, but I don't use it a ton, so it's pretty good. This is a 9-foot fly rod. So I'm going to get some stuff ready for all these, get them rigged up with some stuff before we head out for tomorrow. I have work until 2 p.m. Eastern time. And then after that, I think I'm going to try and head directly out to some of the trout creeks and hop around. So, yeah, I kind of have to have everything ready. Just going to chuck it in the cab of the truck while I'm at work and then just go straight there is my general plan for tomorrow. Amazon does have just about everything. I think you can like buy cars and have people like drive them to your house off of Amazon. It's crazy. Daniel, how's it going? Good to see you back. Glad you came back to join me again. We're just getting ready, kind of spontaneous little live here for trout fishing opener here in Pennsylvania, which is tomorrow. And I got a couple different rods I'm going to rig up. And then over here, it's kind of messy. Jacoby Chaffin, I don't think I've seen you in chat before. Thanks for stopping in. But over here, we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. I've been working on a lot of different archery projects over the last couple of days. Tilt you down a bit. But this is where I keep a lot of my outdoors gear. And in this thing, I have a whole bunch of random tackle. Got my tackle bags down there. So we're going to try and get all that loaded out as well. So yeah, just a couple things to do before dinner. Don't have long, but I thought I'd hop on the live so you guys could chat with me a little bit. Outdoor fam, how's it going? How's it going with the compound bow? Pretty good. I mean, accuracy still increasing. I've only shot it a couple times since the previous live there, but I think I may have partially mentioned this. I know I'm going to talk more specifically about it in the video when I do the whole video, but those cables are old and they needed changed, but the specs that are listed on PSE's website on their tune charts aren't right. Long story, I can explain more about why they're not right next time I actually go out and do something related to archery, but they're not right. So figuring out what cables and what string I actually need has been a heck of a process. I think I'm pretty narrowed down on what I need, but I have to return the stuff that I got that didn't work and then order the new stuff. So that's just a process. And I probably won't take it out shooting again for another week or so because I got to get that whole situation worked out. Got to get it retuned. We got lots of chats coming in here. Not sure how to say your name. I'm going to give it a shot, though. Sorry if I butcher this. Maleka Sangitar. Keep up the good work. Thank you. AZ. Do you like fishing? Asked Jacoby. I do indeed. I have lots of rods, so I might as well like fishing. There's Creed. How's it going, Creed? Have I never given Creed a wrench? Somehow that boggles my mind here. Let me take care of that. There you go. All right, so lots of stuff hanging out on my bench. Most of it's archery stuff because I've been doing a whole bunch of different projects, but we're gonna work on getting the rods ready. Jimmy, I know Jimmy just popped into chat. I know Jimmy's going out for trout tomorrow as well. What's your schedule look like, Jimmy? Got anything special stored up? I unfortunately have to work until 2, and then I'm going to go out. So I'm getting stuff ready now, and I will just pop it in the truck and go directly from work. All right. Just kind of toss stuff out of the way. Here's my archery release. Because I changed the length of it today and tuned it up some, so I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff. Leaving at 3 a.m. and setting up my spot. There you go. I know it's going to be raining, so hopefully that deters some people. I mean, there's plenty of trout to go around. I'm sure even though I'm going out later at 2, I'm sure I'll still catch some. Stock trout aren't the most difficult things in the world to be able to land. Ozarks Woodsman is in here. This is awesome. I didn't know how this was going to go because I've never really done a pop-up live. I usually schedule them out in advance. But yeah, this is nice. Big S Rods does custom work with rods. You should look him up. He's out of South Carolina. Yeah, I wanted to, more than buy a custom rod, one day I aspire to make one. That'd be an awesome video. I love making things. So I feel like I want to make a custom rod someday. But yeah, I'll take a look at it. Can we see your house? Well, I'm not going to take you inside and give you a tour because that's just kind of strange. But if you want to see my house, the front and side of it is available in many, many videos because I film outside a lot because I'm an outdoor channel. Why not film outside, you know? Shared your live stream. Thanks, Ozarks. I'm doing so much talking to you guys, I'm not actually getting much done on the getting ready for trout season. So let's pull some stuff out. Most of my stuff is in my bigger bag, my backpack style bag right now from Casking. And I want it in this bag because I want to go run and gun, be on the move with trout fishing. I also need to get my waders out, which are down there. So I want to get stuff into this bag. I talked about them sporadically throughout videos, but there's been limited talk about them as of recent. I use what are called Busby boxes. Someone's honking down the road there. I use what are called Busby boxes, and they have these modular compartments, so it's super easy to switch stuff out. So switching everything into a smaller tackle box shouldn't be too hard here. Let's read some more chats here. Flash Genius, how's it going? What you want to see his house for? Exactly, Creed. People ask such strange questions. I have to make sure my waders don't have holes in them. Yeah, I'm going to kind of wing it and hope it works out. I haven't used my waders since, like, I don't know, May of last year. I literally don't think I've used them. No, that's not true. I used them in July at, for those of you local Pennsylvanians might know what I'm talking about, at Lake Onalawney, because you kind of have to wade through some lily pads to be able to get casts in there. I was going for snakehead, unsuccessful trip. So last time I used them was in July. So they dry rot, so it's a good idea to check. Yeah, I have a patch kit on me, which obviously wouldn't be ideal, but I think I'm just going to wing it because I'm not sure how much time I have to check. And I'm young enough to where winging it is something I can actually do and recover from. Like, you know, my older channel member people would probably say, like, no, man, I'm not getting wet and cold, but I don't care. There will come a point in time that I probably will start caring, but I'm young enough to where I don't. So, all right, got to get some tackle reorganized. We got the fly box. I think the fly box is in pretty good shape. This is kind of the smaller side with all the trout stuff in it. Shots fired at Jimmy. No, that was not directed at Jimmy. Jimmy's a pretty young dude. But this is kind of the trout stuff. Is it deer season? I don't think so. I'm 28. Yeah, see, Jimmy's not old. But this is a really nice fly box. Double-sided, and I keep some general stuff in it, and then I have supplemental flies I can just chuck in there as needed. But I think I'm just going to leave it as is. This is kind of my smaller side, and then I've got bigger stuff on this side. I think I'm just going to chuck the fly box in there as is. I don't think I need anything extra there. Here's the other box. This has a whole bunch of big stuff in it right now, so we're not going to touch this box at all. What I need to do is get the essential items from that box into this box. So we got to downsize a little bit, get some stuff in there, and then up in here, I have a whole bunch of random plastics that I need to get. I see you got a cut. I did get a haircut recently. The creeks have a stain to them, so dark colors and flash will be the move. Yeah, I'm kind of just going to throw everything in there and play it by ear. I'm going to have a rod. I think I was talking about this before you were in here. I'm going to have a rod specifically set up for inline spinners, dedicated to inline spinners. So I will definitely have that on hand, which definitely covers the flash part of your statement there. Creed's going trout fishing this weekend. Creed's from Texas, so that's quite a event for Creed. Emmy Schaefer, my sister's in here, says, "Hey y'all." She's Southern. I say y'all a lot, especially in my community posts, so I guess I can't blame her. Did you ever catch Nemo? No, I've not caught Nemo. That's one that's not on the species list. All right, so got to get some of this transferred over here. I think what I'm going to do is put this one here, and I'm going to take this off. There you go. Hoping they haven't all died yet. Yeah, warm temperatures, which Texas definitely has, can kill off trout real quick. They don't like warm temperatures. All right. So, obviously there's much less space in this box than there is in this one, so I kind of have to pick and choose, which shouldn't be too difficult because some of them I have like bass soft plastics in. And obviously I'm not using that for trout, so. Alright, I just gotta pick and choose what I want here. We definitely are gonna want some of these. This has like spinners and little crankbaits in it. There you go. We're gonna want that one. We're gonna want this one, which I have a spinner in there as well, but we've got lots of small hooks in there, and then that one. We're gonna want this one, which is gonna take some of the bigger casting weights out, but we've got like split shots and stuff in there. It's running low, so I'm gonna have to take some out of the big tackle tower, which I put on the floor, toss some extra split shots in there. Check some chats again. Raptor Will's in here. Thanks for coming in. It's going to be in the 50s the next 2 days though, so hoping if there are any left, they'll be a little more active. Yeah, 50s is not a bad temperature at all. Rod Wilson's in here as well, showing off his teeth in the profile picture. How's it going? All right. What else we got? What else do we need? This one has all my jig heads of all different sizes, including trout magnet jig heads, which, hence the name, we're definitely going to want. So, I'm going to put that one in there. Looking around. I think that one's got a couple more small crankbaits in there. I think I'm going to consolidate these two. Not sure why they were actually ever separate. Consolidate those two and have this one, which we can toss some little micro floats into, so that we have some micro floats to use for trout. We're making progress. Reorganizing stuff in these tackle boxes feels like I'm playing Tetris, because I gotta like take something out, and then because of they have different shapes to them, the one I have to like put back in there doesn't fit, so I gotta move this over here and that over here just to get stuff in there. Getting his trout stuff together. 210 is on it. Creed says you have memberships coming soon, right? Yeah, the memberships are coming back soon. My birthday is in 3 days, and then as soon as I actually am 18, I can take a picture of my driver's license, verify that I am 18, and then make because this is the whole reason I shut them down in the first place, is that it would have been a huge hassle to switch them over from a parental account to my account. But once I'm 18, it can just be under my account, be directly hooked up to my personal bank information, all that sort of stuff, and then we won't ever have to change it again. So I just said I'm going to cut it now and wait until my birthday, which is in 3 days. So as soon as that happens, we should have memberships back up super soon. I would like to be the founding member once again. Well, I'll put up a community post once I've got them rolling, and if you happen to be the first one to see it, then have at it. I've changed things up as far as the tiers a little bit, which I think is actually a little bit better. It was a little blessing in disguise that I had to take them down, because I think they're in a better spot now. My general idea is that for 99 cents, you can get pretty much everything except for, I think it's going to be, except for early release content. You can get members only videos and members only live streams and posts. But if you want to have early release content, you're going to spend like an extra $1. And then if you specifically want to support me, as in like you feel obligated, not obligated, you feel like you want to give me money, then there's going to be a $5 a month tier. I'm going to make it as cheap as possible. I want to have a good community of members. I really don't care like about making a ton of money off of it. A little bit of kickback is nice, but it's really about the community. Are you going to do it the same day as your birthday? Yeah, I know it takes a little bit to get everything set up once you do that, but the actual identity verification is probably going to be the very first thing I do when I get up on Monday. Ozark says, I'm not fully monetized yet. Hopefully soon. I haven't done the different levels yet either. Yeah, I think that's my plan. So $1 a month can get you pretty much everything. $2 a month gets you a little bit extra. I'm also going to do, YouTube doesn't like it when you call it this, but I'm going to have, I'm going to have gifts available to members as member only appreciation. You're not paying to get them, but it's because, oh, you guys support me. I want to give back, and I'm going to do some handmade leather goods. I'm learning how to 3D print lures. That's going to be an awesome video that I'm in the works of making. I'm doing a whole bunch of fun stuff with 3D modeling and 3D printing. And I'm going to learn how to 3D print lures, and you guys are going to have some more extended access to that than just general subscribers if you become a member. So lots of fun stuff. Yeah, like I think if I make like the files that you actually can print the lures from, not only are like, you know, I'll do some giveaways with general subscribers of the lures, but I think I'm actually going to give away, like, you guys, the members, might have access to the actual files that I use, so on and so forth. So, what's going on, Super Cal? You're just saying my name. All right, let's get this finished up. Put a couple more things in here. And we should be in a good spot. Chuck one or two more things in there. All right. So it's super minimal. I use a lot of like jar plastics, power bait, gulp maggots, that sort of stuff, as well as bagged plastics. So this is mostly just terminal tackle and hard baits. There's not a lot of soft plastics in this kit. I'll show you what I got. So I'm not sure how much I can tilt it. I might have to tilt the camera down. Let me see, there you go. So these two have just some miscellaneous small plastics. Not much, but a little bit. This one is pretty much all my small hard baits. This one I've got things like jigs, like that guy right there. This one, jig heads, small swivels, and kind of miscellaneous terminal tackle if I wanted to make like a power bait rig in there. This one has split shots and sliding weights. This one's kind of an open compartment that I can toss some floats and random stuff in, and then got all our small hooks in that one. So I'm going to close up the box. These boxes are really cool. They're super heavy duty. They float. They're modular Busby boxes. They're very expensive for what they are, but I've had these for 5 years, and I actually, like a month ago, had the first like breakage. This latch broke off, so I'm gonna have to replace this one. This box is like 38 bucks, but I've had them for 5 years. Nothing's ever broken. They float. They keep everything rust free. I think they're worth the price if you fish as much as I do. Like salt water doesn't phase them. You can put hooks that are still wet with salt water in here, and it has like wicking technology that'll make sure it doesn't rust. They're pretty cool. Alrighty, so we got this. This goes in the bag. I'm not sure what else I have in here right now. It's pretty empty, which is good. Alright. So we already have trout magnets in there. I'm running low on my stock, but I've got lots of other small plastics I can use. So that's good. And then this holds fly fishing leaders. So that's also something we're going to need. And trout worms. So we've got a good selection of things already in there. Let's pop the box into the bag. Are you going to college on your birthday? No, I am not going to college on my birthday, but I'm going to college this upcoming fall. Thank you, Ozarks Woodsman, for making sure we're not getting any spams in there. Correction, my birthday's Sunday. Yeah, Ozarks and I had a conversation in the waiting room before I came on his live, and we figured out that our birthdays are a day apart, which is cool. Creed says, so your birthday is the 7th, right? That is correct. Stuart, how's it going? This is right in your alley, right in your neck of the woods. I'm getting all my trout stuff ready to go out tomorrow. I have work until 2, so I want to make sure that I'm ready to go right after work, and I'm getting all my stuff ready now. Reminder has been set on my phone. Oh boy, Creed. All right, now we can bring this guy back into the scene. You know you're a fisherman. Like, that thing probably doesn't look that heavy. It probably weighs like 35, 40 pounds. I have a lot of tackle on that thing. There's a lot of stuff. You know you're a big fisherman when that thing's that heavy. But we already have the leader holder. We already have a couple little plastics. I'm going to load this box out with a couple more plastics and then chuck it in there. But is it not Monday? Your birthday is? Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm going to college. You know, everything doesn't line up on birthdays. I will be 18, and then if you're 18 at the end of your senior, or if you're 18, that year is your senior year of high school, and after that you go to college. So they're not necessarily exactly lined up. Tim, how's it going? Thanks for popping in. Hippopotamus make the best cakes is so good. That's a heck of a name. How's it going? Creed says, gotta head out. I'll try and stop by later if you're still live. Cool. Where are you going trout bashing? A couple spots on the French Creek, and I believe, I remembered the other one. Couldn't remember it earlier. I'm going to the skipback on one spot. Jimmy will probably know where all these spots are. The skipback, and I'm going to try 2 different spots on the French Creek. The skipback's probably going to be the first one I go to. All right. Open this bad boy up and get out some stuff. So I have gulp maggots and gulp worms. I'm probably going to take both of them because they're different colors and they're slightly different presentation, and the trout might want one over the other depending on where I'm at. Stuart, I don't think you were in here when I showed this earlier. Got the fly box, and some of these are yours that you sent me. These are yours, I know that. What else is yours in here? This one you made for me. These are from you, I know that. I'm not sure what else is yours. I think that one's yours. I think some of these mop flies are yours as well. So you sent me some of these, and hopefully we're going to be able to catch some fish on them this trout season. All right, trout magnet floats. We gotta definitely toss in a couple of those. I'm just making a pile of things on the floor that I will then put in the bag. These are super nice. They're super small and compact, so you can toss them in your tackle box, but they're very buoyant. They can hold up a lot more than they look like they can hold up. We'll go 5 of them. That seems like a good number. 2 orange, 2 yellow, and a green. All the stuff at the top of the box, mop flies and lures. There you go. Benny Pooh car keys. What in the world are these names that are coming in? Ozark says you're going live tomorrow. No, I'm probably going to be running and gunning after work. And running and gunning is difficult to do on live. It's possible, but it's difficult. And it's also going to be raining, so it's going to make it really difficult with all the different aspects there to go live. So I'll have my GoPro. I'm not sure if it'll be a video by itself, if it'll be a short, if it'll end up in something else. Maybe it never comes out. Depends on how it goes. But I will be recording in some aspects. So if something cool happens, it will be available at some point. All right. I'm searching for a specific thing, and I can't find it. I have a bag full of, here they are, bag full of these, which I bought on bulk. They're like little ant-shaped plastics that are black. Black's a good color, whether it's clear water, dirty water. It's just a good color, so I'm just going to grab a whole bunch of these and toss them in. All right, some of these names are so weird. They're walking the edge of what's acceptable. All right, here's what we're gonna do. We also got some curly tails. see if we got anything else. Tim, I'm in a new dark place at the moment. Got some news that I don't know what to do, so I'm staying strong for my mom's sake. Yeah, Stuart's been going through some stuff. I encourage you guys to keep Stuart in your prayers and continue to check in on him as needed. I know his dad's been having some health issues, and he's been going through a lot of stuff lately. So, definitely give Stuart your time and your prayers, and I think he'd appreciate all that. Alrighty, so we got this little box. We're running low on some trout magnets, but as Jimmy said, the water's pretty murky as of late, and the stuff that I have more of are the bright colored stuff, so that's probably good. And then I'll just kind of distribute some of these black little plastics throughout, just to make sure I have some of those. I'm not too worried about organization right now, because I don't really have time for that, and some of this stuff will be interchanged throughout the season as well. So, little box full of that. I have some of these mummified worms, which if they're really, really slow, I'll pull these out. And then I need some power bait. I know I need power bait. I think I've got some in my other bag, which I know I have some other things that I'm going to need in there as well. So, in here, this bag's where I keep all my plastics and line and stuff. In my bigger backpack, I've got some other things I might want. Some of these guys. I'm just going to throw the whole shebang in there, and then I'll determine what I need as I'm out there, especially early in the trout season. I don't really know what the fish are going to want, so I kind of just take everything. All right, so here's some power bait. We got 2 jars worth of that. We got an orange right there. Orange power bait eggs, pink power bait eggs. And then I know I have trout worms in here. And that's, I think, the last thing I'm going to need. Yep, that should be it. Right there. Mouse tails, which you can just, I typically end up breaking off the head and just using the tail. So, Nolan, if you need any more flies, let me know. I will do that, Stuart. I'm going to definitely be putting some time in with the fly rod this trout season, so I might break off a couple. Some of them might get tore up. I'll let you know if I need some more. All right, the last thing I'm going to need is some line, which I'm going to grab some of this. Yeah, this is good stuff. I believe this is 6 pound. And then I'm going to grab some 4 pound as well. I'm going to grab 6 pound mono for the base section of making fly leaders. I tie my own, and I can tie them up pretty quick on the water. So this is 6 pound. I'll use this as the base, and if I'm just doing dry flies, I'll just use the mono as a whole. And then I've got some fluorocarbon somewhere over here. 4 pound fluoro. Not exactly sure where I put it. It might actually be in this bag. Fluorocarbon sinks. I still haven't strung my new bait caster. Can't decide on string. So I think we've had at least some discussion about this before. I typically go braid to a leader, but if you're not familiar with that, that can be difficult to do. So if you just want to have a simple, easy solution for a casting rod, I'd probably go like 12 pound mono, say something like that. You can make fluorocarbon float. You can make practically anything float if you put enough gink on it. So someone taking out the trash, yeah, that's my dad. I kind of did this on a whim, and real life is going on, so my parents are just kind of walking around back behind the camera and doing all sorts of things. So all right, I can't find my 4 pound fluorocarbon. I'm not sure where I put it. I'm not sure where I could have put it. Maybe in here. Oh, wait. There it is. 4 pound fluorocarbon. Bang. Also in here, I have this, which will be quite helpful. This is a life straw. I use this for camping and stuff. It's a water filter. But whoa, dropped it, but caught it. To keep stuff run and gun super light so I can move around, I typically don't take a water bottle while trout fishing. I will just take this, and if I need a drink, I'll pop it out and take drinks directly from the river. It sounds crazy, but these water filters are awesome, and I just drink right from the river through it. Don't even take a water bottle. All right, I think that should be all the stuff we're gonna need. As far as tackle, so I got to start loading that into here. Do you ride a dirt bike? I saw that on YouTube. I do not ride a dirt bike. I know lots of people who do. So occasionally, my dad's a big mountain bike rider. Occasionally, I'll do a little adventure with him, but I don't do that as often as a lot of other things. You going to fish right now? I'm not going to fish right now, but after work tomorrow, I'm going to get in on the first day of trout season here in Pennsylvania for 2025. Your parents are cool to support you. That is indeed true. I'm very appreciative of them. I didn't even tell them. Well, I told my mom because her car's out there, so I'm taking up the garage and told her, don't pull in, I'm doing something. But I didn't even tell my dad. He came out here and looked at me like I had like 4 heads because he was like, what in the heck is going on? So... All right, I think we are pretty good. I'm gonna bring some of the rods over here and start to get a couple of things that I think might be beneficial tied on. And then we're gonna put the rest of this stuff in the bag. I'm gonna go grab the rods, I'll be back. Alrighty, so the first one, the one that I'll probably be using the most out of the 4 of them, is the ultralight with 2-pound line. Super finesse, and they don't see the line. You can be super accurate, super precise with this type of rod. I'm just going to throw a trout magnet jig head on there, and then we can throw a variety of plastics and such on there. I use this is like what I use the majority of the time during trout season. Trout magnet jig head with some type of plastic on it. You can vary the plastic, just switch them out. But trout magnet jig head's pretty much always on one of my rods during trout season. So, I'm gonna open up our box here. Pull out the trout magnet jig head. Not sure what color I want. I got a bunch of them in here. Jimmy said it's gonna be fairly murky. Don't want to jump directly to a chartreuse head, just because I typically reserve that for special scenarios, but I will go with a gold. Pick blue. I don't have any blue, surprisingly, but I do have gold, so I'm going to go with that one. Yep. Ozarks Woodsman, making sure everybody stays on task. I don't mind if you go off task occasionally, but if it becomes a habit, then it's kind of like the boy who cries wolf. Anytime you go off track, then we're going to be like, oh man, there they go again. So, you know, beware of that. So tying on this guy, you guys can probably barely see the line. It's so thin, 2-pound mono. There we go. There we go. And then what I was having the most success on out of all my plastics for last trout season was a power worm. So I'm going to put a power worm on and start with that for tomorrow. And pink was the color of choice for me last year, and it worked pretty doggone well. So thread that on there just like that. Something like that. That's what we're going to roll with for rod number 1 for tomorrow. Obviously could change once I get out there, but it's good to have something ready to go once you get out there. So rod number 1, ready to roll. I'm going to put that right here. Wonderful. You're using 2-pound test for trout. That is indeed true. I go pretty light on that rod. I have a similar rod with 4-pound, and if I'm fishing in heavy rocks or with a little bit bigger lure, I'll go with that one. But I like the 2-pound because no trout is going to shy away from it, and with that thin a line and that light of a rod, I can really get super finesse with it and really entice the trout to bite. So orange chartreuse body, white tail, boom. I got a similar color trout magnet to what you're describing. So if that one doesn't work, I'll probably switch to this next. So I'm on to it, Stuart. I got that colorway. I'm not sure what that says. You got to do the first video like it when. Not sure what you're saying there, Super Cal. It's a fly I tied. Do I have it? I don't know. I'll show you the fly box. Let me know if you see it. All right, so BFS rod. I currently have I think it's a 1/8 ounce, 1/8 ounce Castmaster. And I'm kind of torn on whether I want to keep this because obviously I could put a spinner on there and you kind of retrieve that straight back and the trout definitely hit it. But something like this, I can rip through a pool and give a little bit different action. Can let it sink to the bottom, pop it up off the bottom, or I can straight retrieve it. But a lot of these places I'm going to be fishing are pretty shallow. So I think in a lot of scenarios, the just straight retrieve of a spinner is going to work a little bit better. I'm not sure what I want to do. If Jimmy's still here, I'm sure he has an opinion on that, especially knowing some of the creeks that I'm going to be hitting. So if Jimmy's still here, I'm sure he can give me an opinion. I'm either going to toss a similar sized spinner on here or leave this guy on here. How long till dinner? Cool. That many minutes. All right, we don't have long here. Cut the live in a little bit because, I've got dinner. I just wanted to make sure I said hi to y'all. I haven't been putting out much regular content lately. Done quite a few lives lately, but I'm in the midst of a whole bunch of projects and been quite busy. Haven't had a lot of time to do editing. I will have some good time to do editing this weekend, so if I'm diligent, I can probably get a video out within the next week or so, and I'm going to try and get a short for tomorrow. Light powered rod, a little bit bigger reel instead of 2. Nolan, did your dad look at you with 4 heads? That's because you do. Oh, you know what? I never realized that. I'll have to take a more detailed look next time I look in the mirror. Do you have a green mop fly? I think I do have a green mop fly. So much fishing stuff. Yes, Ozarks. But I use it all, and I've accumulated it over a long period of time. So going out and getting this all at once would be somewhat crazy. But, Chad's in here, the President Chad. As dumb as it sounds, fishing stuff is a bit intimidating to me. That's why I always did Zebco 33. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as you get into more advanced stuff, the more advanced things will appeal to you. But if you're a beginner, nothing wrong with starting with simple stuff. All right, so for this one, this is kind of my do-it-all rod. I mean, the ultralight's really good with those small jigs. The BFS is good with the spinner. The fly rod's obviously a whole different thing, but this guy can kind of do a little bit of everything. I'm not sure exactly what I want to throw onto this rod. I'm debating on doing something like just a bigger jig head, heavier jig head, and a little bit bigger plastic. But I'm not sure. If you guys got any opinions for what to throw on this slightly larger rod, let me know. This one is probably going to be like the dark horse. They're not hitting anything, pull out that rod with something special on it, and maybe it works. So, El Presidente. Yep. All right, let's go grab the fly rod, and Stuart can give us his his 2 cents on what we throw on there. Stuart's a huge fly fisherman, and he made a lot of the flies that are in that fly box. So we'll get Stuart's opinion. Alrighty, fly rod. I think I have a leader on here, but I'm not sure what pound it is. Yeah, I've definitely got a leader. Finding the end of this is not the easiest task in the world. Make sure I didn't loop it up under itself. That would be problematic. I think we're good. All right. The Fisherman's Lodge. Oh, on you go, am here. Oh, on you go, am here. Stuart's from Scotland, for those of you who don't know, so sometimes his linguistic choices confuse me because I'm from Pennsylvania in the United States. So sometimes I'm just like, wait a minute, what the heck are you saying? Because we are from very different parts of the world. So, all right, I'm gonna try and get this line through there with a 9-foot rod. It's always a challenge because you gotta do some finagling to get it all the way through. Got about 5 minutes left in this live, and then I've got dinner coming my way. So as soon as I get this fly rod rigged up, I'm going to close down this live. As I said, it was kind of a pop-up, so I'm sorry for the spontaneous ending, but I wasn't even anticipating on doing this much in the first place. I kind of just did it because, you know, why not? All right. Warning, no spamming, final warning. Final warning, hippopotamus make the best cakes is so good. There you go. Can't you W-I? Can't I what for Easter? If you tell me what you're actually saying, maybe I can answer the question instead of having a woodsman remove it. But if you actually type the whole sentence, then I will let you know. If it's a legitimate question, which it very well could be, that's one thing. But if you don't type the whole sentence, I'll never know. Stuart saying hi to Will. This is the point in time where it gets difficult. Trying to rig up the fly rod because they're quite flexible and they're also quite long. So got to get the last 3 guides and then we should be in a good spot. There we go. All right, got the fly rod. He keeps mentioning Easter for some strange reason. Yeah, exactly. What is the power of your fly rod? It is a 5-6 weight, so it's a little heavy for trout. Stuart wouldn't say so. Stuart likes to horse them in. I believe he uses an 8 weight. But for most people here in Pennsylvania, it's a little heavy for trout and it's a little light for bass. So if I do it the right way, I can do both, which is why I got this particular setup. All right, Stuart, what should I throw on here? My go-to, what I'm comfortable with is a mop fly, woolly bugger, kind of like a San Juan worm. But if you tell me to go with something else, I'll give it a shot. So what do you think? Perfect weight for both. See, there you go. I will also, which Stuart will be happy about this, is it a floating line? Yeah, floating line. I typically am able to use my floating line pretty well as an indicator. So if it's a sinking fly, I'll just put on the right leader depth to where I can use the line as an indicator. Raptor Will has an 8.5-foot 6 weight Orvis Clearwater. Orvis makes good stuff. This is a cheaper rod. I might be upgrading this soon because we are going to the Arkansas River in Colorado in May for a trip to see my aunt and uncle out in their home territory. It has some of the best trout fishing around, and this or some form of a fly rod will be definitely coming with me. Let me know what I'll put on here. I'll get that put on, and then we're going to have to end the live because I've got dinner rolling right around the corner. do one of these maneuvers. There you go. What are we putting on, Stuart? Try a dry fly, match the hatch. Looks for flies that are flying about. So, Stuart, this is interesting that you say that. These trout are still, probably for another 3 weeks or so, are still probably not eating dry flies yet. I've never caught a dry fly trout in the first 2 weeks of trout season. I've only caught them later because then they start eating bugs. They're still trained in on like bottom dwelling stuff, and they're still looking for pellets. So it's definitely interesting. They take a while until they start doing that. So I'm probably looking for something sinking. What do you think? Mop fly? Which color are we going with? It's darker water, so I'm saying I think we either go with one of the chartreuse ones or one of the light ones. What do you think's better, Stuart? Darker water, so I'm probably not going to go with the black or the tan. White one? Stuart's the expert. I believe this one was tied by Stuart. So, white mop fly right there, tied by Stuart. We're gonna pop that on. And once I got that tied on, we're gonna unfortunately have to end that live. Daniel says gibberish. That makes sense given their stocked fish raised on pellets their whole lives. White and green. Yep, there you go. That's the one. Tie that on, we should be good. Yeah, these stock trout are raised on pellets, so the mop fly is a really good choice because although it looks really weird and unnatural, it kind of imitates just general food pellets, which is what they eat. Make sure there's no random knots in my line. We should be good. I like bow videos more. Well, I will be doing that stuff. Nobody ever said you have to watch all my stuff. I appreciate the people who just enjoy the things I do and watching general stuff I do, but if you're not interested in everything, that's okay. If you just like bow stuff, then just watch the bow stuff. I got pellet flies ready for you, Nolan. Well, I appreciate it. You already have my address, so if you send them my way, I'll definitely put them to use. Obviously, no obligation to do so, but if you send them my way, I'll use them. All right. There we go. Good stuff. All right, mop fly, tied on, ready to roll. I'll figure out something to throw on that other rod, and we should be pretty much good for trout season. Before I head out, I do want to show you my net because I think it's pretty cool. I got it in the middle of trout season last year because I actually lost my other net. I don't think I've talked about it much. You've seen it in a couple videos, but this is my net here. Big hoop, got the rubber mesh so that your hooks don't get caught in it. It's also nicer on the fish. And the whole thing floats, which is super, super nice. I can kind of just lay it in the water beside me, tethered, and just have it float there. It's got a GoPro mount on it, and we're ready to go. As I said, that's the last thing I'm going to show you before dinner because I've got dinner coming up. I'm going to end the live here in a minute. I appreciate you guys for popping in. Wanted to make sure I showed you the net because it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the live. I will probably try and do these every once in a while, just a spontaneous pop-up. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for coming in, even though I didn't let you guys know in advance. I really, really appreciate it. With that being said, wish me luck for trout season tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated. Got lots of fun projects coming. And yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for stopping in. See you guys later.